everyone, it's Ukeme. You're welcome to today's episode of Pages Highlights. Guess what? Today I'll be sharing with you some book recommendations. These are books I read before I got married. So I'll just share some of the recommendations with you. Okay, I'll start with the first book. The first book is Preparing Your Heart for Marriage. Such a great book to read. I read this book before getting married during the preparations for the marriage. This book helps you to see that marriage is a journey, a lifetime journey, and so it shouldn't be entered carelessly or taken for granted. This book places a lot of emphasis on purity, sexual purity before marriage. And one thing I really enjoyed about this book is that the author was actually big on helping you shift the focus from the wedding day, which is just a one day event that would come and go, and help you think about marriage, because when the honeymoon is over, then marriage starts and you need to prepare your heart for marriage. So I encourage you to get this book and read it. Another book I read is I, Isaac Take Thee, Rebecca by Ravi Zacharias. This book was such an eye opener for me. For me, this book helped me really question myself as to, do you really have what it takes to get married? Are you ready for the sacrifice that marriage comes with, the giving up your selfishness and thinking about the other person? This book has a backdrop of the story of Isaac and Rebecca, and how important it is to marry in the kingdom. I mean, you're a child of God. You need to marry a child of God too, because that already places a good platform for you both. And this book helps you, think logically about your decision to get married. Another book I read is this, you can see is an oldie in my shelf. It's titled Opposites Attract, written by Tim LaHaye. This book is really a great book. It helps you understand temperament, why your spouse, the person you're courting, is behaving the way he should, because not two people have the same temperament. You might be choleric, and your spouse might be in melancholy. They like the peaceful, quiet place, and you're active. You want to be everywhere. You want to be bossy. And then it helps you appreciate your differences and embrace your uniqueness as individuals. Another book I read is this. It's titled Start Right, written by Temitayo Ogunaike. One of the key lessons I learned from this book is the fact that you cannot just come because you married the person today and then you wipe off the experiences they've had for years. I mean, this person has grown up with his parents for 20 something years, 30 something, 40 something years, and they've developed habits, characters that you cannot just change. To know this is to know peace. And this book also had like a wedding planner guide, help you to to remember what you need to do. Great book. Another one is Marriage, Divorce and Remarriage, written by Kenneth E. Again. In this book, Kenneth E. Again sort of tries to delve into a topic that is not commonly discussed in the Christendom. It's the divorce topic, and I loved how he really emphasized the truth in this book. And one of the key lessons Kenneth E. Again said in this book is the fact that beneath every anger, every pain, every disappointment, every heartache, quarrel in marriage is the fact that one person or the both persons have refused to die daily to self, and they have refused to embrace the love of God and to love each other with a love that is divine. Because really, marriage is a lifetime journey of you loving the person you're married to forever. Forever is a long time. And because of your differences, you hurt yourself, you offend yourself. Definitely, offenses would arise. But then, if you hold on to these offenses, you'd kill your marriage, you'd ruin it. But if you learn to forgive, you learn to let go, and you learn to love each other with a divine love, because you see, we as humans can not really love people the way we should, except we draw from the strength of God to love our spouses with the God kind of love, the love that overlooks the wrong, the love that forgives over and over and over again, the love that sees the best in the next person. And that sort of love is only a divine kind of love. You cannot love the way God wants you to love without the help of God. And this is one of the things this book helps you to see. This book also spoke about money in marriage, because finances, money talk in marriage is one of the big topics. The important, very, very, very important. And this book really emphasizes that. And this one, The Good Girl's Guide to Great Sex, written by Sheila Ray Gregory. I actually read the audio version of this particular book before my wedding, and then after the wedding, I was gifted this book by Toby, and this book is a great book because this book helps you see that, God is the originator of sex. When you're single, sexual purity is advocated. You need to stay pure and fight off sexual immorality, because you want to stay committed to God. But then, when you now get married, the expectation now shifts. They now expect that you should just start and become experienced on the job. And so, because a lot of couples, young couples, Christian couples, they get everything right, and this very important aspect of marriage is sort of neglected, is not mostly talked about. So this sort of topic is really silent, and so many young, beautiful, godly girls go into marriage without experience, and then they are clueless on what to do. Let me break it down. For a long time, you've been single, and you've seen sex before marriage as something that is a no-no, and you've built this strong wall in your heart to guard against it. And now you're married, and you need to satisfy your spouse, and your spouse needs to satisfy you too. But because you've built this wall against it, you still tend to view it as a bad thing that you don't want to do. I've read stories about Christian couples, men and women, who get married but would not be able to have sex because in their hearts they've built such a wall that they cannot break this. So this book helps you to see that, sex, it is from God. He's the one that originated it, and marriage is the certificate to start practicing it. And so, learning that first and learning other interesting things is a great book. I'd encourage you to read it. And this one, I read it after I got married. It's titled The Marriage Covenant, written by Derek Prince. I read this book this year, and I sort of decided to add it to my list because this book really helps you see that in marriage, there's definitely going to be differences. No two people are the same. Troubles might arise, but should troubles mean that the marriage is over. No, this book helps you see that marriage is a covenant, and covenant is sacred. So you don't just go into it carelessly. You know how when we're younger you would watch some kind of Nollywood movies and you see two people going to a kind of blood covenant, and maybe one person default, that's how that one will now go mad like that. That was just like an instance that covenant is sacred. The book explains the result of covenant being commitment. I mean, when you know that I'm in a covenant relationship with this person, oh, God has joined us as one. You know, some churches when they wed people, I think most Orthodox churches, they'll get like a cloth and tie them and wrap them together. That's just like a physical illustration that, hey guys, you're joined together as one. You're in a covenant, and that covenant should remind you, should make you stay committed. Another book I read, which is What I Wish I Knew Before I Got Married, written by Gary Chapman. One of the things I learned from this book is the fact that love is not enough. You can get married because you love the person, good and fine, but that shouldn't be your only reason, because you see the honeymoon period will fizzle out. You won't always be feeling butterflies in your tummy and tingles in your ear, because that stage would pass, and then your eyes would be awoken to the reality of what you've signed up for. And knowing that love is not enough would tell you to build yourself. It would tell you to focus on other areas. And that thing the book explains is the love language, which I'll just also join with the 5 love languages written by Gary Chapman. This one places emphasis on love language. He listed 5 love languages: acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time, and gifts. So it focuses on teaching you how to love your spouse in the language that they love. You know, because oftentimes we tend to love people how we ourselves we wish to be loved. So for instance, if I'm someone who likes receiving gifts, that's what makes me feel loved, I'll probably be giving out gifts, because I'll feel like, as I'm giving this person this gift, the person will feel loved by the gift I'm giving. But if that kind of person, their love language is quality time, no matter the amount of gifts you're giving, when you're not spending that quality time with them, they feel like this person does not really love me. This person does not even have my time. So learning your spouse's love language and loving them in the language that they want to be loved is very important. Someone said to me that when you marry a believer, in short, you guys are seeing things through the lens of God. When you feel bad, who do you go to for help? You go to God, you pray to God. And when this person also feels down and feels devastated, this person goes to God. Who is God? God is your father. You're here. It's like a triangular relationship. I think is the married covenant, Derek Prince, that also explained this triangular relationship thing. You're here, your spouse is here, and then God is on top. So you're all looking forward towards God. And so a threefold cord cannot be easily broken, because the same God you're praying to is the same God he's praying to. The same God you desire to please is the same God your spouse desires to please. So a threefold cord will not be easily broken. Thank you for staying tuned to this point. I mean, I know this video was a sort of long one, but thank you for watching. Thank you for staying tuned. I do not take this for granted. God bless you. And if you love the content I make, please consider subscribing. It means so much to me. Click on the like button. When you like this video, it tells YouTube that there's something interesting here. It helps me bloom. I want to bloom. I want to grow here. So like, leave a comment, and I promise you I'll reply, and share this video. See you again in another episode. Bye.